WMNation.com.
Hey everybody, check this out. This is We Are the Night by Villins. Going to be talking with them by phone in just a couple of minutes, but give this a listen. This is a great track. Looking forward to chatting with them.
In the beginning, you took my hand, a magic feeling I won't forget.
That's good. That is We Are the Night by Villins. And let's see who is on the line. Hopefully this is our guest. Hello.
Hello, Matt. It is Jessica.
Hey, Matt, and Kareem. She's discussing.
Hey, nice to meet you both. Welcome. I've been really looking forward to this. And thanks for being a little flexible on the time, by the way. Because I made a little mistake, but I'm glad that worked out. But hey, so I love the track, and I really like the video too, by the way. And I should tell people right at the top, for anyone who wants to look it up online while we're chatting, Villins is Villins, so without the A. And by the way, have the two of you found, this might be kind of a random question, but on posters or in emails back and forth with other people in the business and whatnot? Do people sometimes get the name wrong and misspell it?
Yeah, it's taken a little while for people to get the spelling of the name, but it also helps.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So one of the reasons, too, I want people to see the video, not right now, obviously, later after the show, is it's really well done. But also, too, I think people will realize pretty quick that there's a very strong visual element to what you're doing in this project. And it's not, I don't want to say it's not just the music, because the music is great, but obviously there's a really strong visual element as well. And I went through and I checked out some of the live clips too that are on YouTube, and it's something that you're very consistent with. Has it been that way from the very beginning when this project started with the two of you? Has it? I mean, did you set out to do that right from the start? You know, not to just kind of look like everybody else or wear jeans and T-shirts and whatnot, but really do something. I don't know if theatrical is quite the right word, maybe, but was that always the plan from the beginning?
Yes, it was, but over time it's definitely grown.
Yeah.
When we first started, we weren't doing like the face paint for masks. We weren't doing that yet, and we hadn't started doing lasers in our live show or anything. but we did start by referencing a lot of comic book and movie villains. So
sure.
Our outfits definitely reflected that. But yes, over time we've been growing our props, and it's definitely getting better and better with each show.
Sure. Now, tell us about, and I read a little bit of this in the bio that's on the website and on your Facebook, and there's not a lot there, which I understand because you're trying to kind of keep a certain mystique to this and whatnot. But can you tell us about how the two of you met?
Oh yes. So I guess how far back are we gonna go?
Well, here's.
I guess okay. We'll go back a little bit far. We'll keep it short.
Okay.
So when I was still in high school, I saw Kareem on TV playing guitar for Lady Gaga.
Oh, no kidding!
And I was stoked. I was like, wow, he is such an amazing guitar player. And randomly, because of just the kind of person I am, I emailed him, right? Like as if he's ever going to get back to me ever, right?
Right.
Like, hey, if you ever want to collaborate on something, like a weirdo, right? So then strangely, a few years had passed and our paths crossed, and I was working on another project. I had another band, and he came in and started working with us and played on some of our songs, and then ended up producing our EP. And then over time, Kareem and I started writing more and more together, and we just wrote so many songs. We created this like entire new world that was so different from anything that he or I had ever worked on.
Yeah.
And so we decided to create Villins, and that's how it all kind of happened.
That's cool. It's cool how, it started with, you sent him that email when you were in high school, not expecting, because obviously realistically you don't expect anything to come of something like that, and then here you are. That's pretty remarkable. It's kind of like fate in a way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely felt very magical. Like it still does. But yes, it was one of those things that, like, I guess in my head I had like visualized, my artistic path being a certain thing, and then for it to actually happen, for me to actually create that was like a very beautiful thing. So for the both of us, we were just like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And Kareem, do you still tour with Lady Gaga?
No, I did some touring with her. Did the Monster Ball tour and the Born This Way album, and we're still all friendly and stuff. And we went out and saw them on the Joanne tour, and our good friend Brockett Parsons is still out there with her. And so no, I'm not touring with that anymore, and just focusing on Villins.
Because when I read that you had played guitar for Lady Gaga, my first thought was, well, that's interesting because obviously what she does is very theatrical, and so it's I guess you are kind of already in that mode. In a way, you're used to being in a very sort of visual type of situation. This might sound this might sound a little odd the way I put it, but I don't know how else to ask it. Have you ever played in just a plain old rock band where it's just like a T-shirt and jeans and
Oh, sure. Yeah. One of the things that we both relate with each other about is we both played a lot in the rock clubs and in a lot of more traditional hard rock situations, and so that's very much a part of who we both are and what we do.
Yeah.
And in Villins, we like to. There's definitely a lot of stuff that's just straight ahead rocking in our live show,
mm-hmm.
but we really have fun with trying to really try to hit on all cylinders. Like that's a part of what we do, but the theatrical part's a big part of what we try to make each show really a concert. But it's not that we both don't just love good old fashioned rock and roll and
sure.
hang out and drive and listen to the Stones and all that sort of stuff too. But when we get together to put shows together and our ideas together, we try to make them a little more meta.
Yeah. Is the studio material is that? I mean, do you? I don't know if you both play multiple instruments or if you have other people in there with you, because obviously you're a duo. But are there other musicians on the studio recordings, or is that all you?
Well, no, actually, everything that we do in the recordings is all us.
Wow.
So, and that's something we actually don't put a lot out there about that process. But
yeah.
Everything we do from scratch together. We work in Ableton Live, and there's a lot of programming that goes on. There's most of the things that we come up together. It'll be me and Jess sitting around with guitars and keyboards, and either one of us can start the riff or something. That song, The Rare of the Night, started with Jess playing that riff on a synth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was hanging out programming some drums, and then we build from there. We got really into like all the little details. Hanging out and working on production is a big part of what we do. It's a big part of where Villins came from.
Okay. Wow. And then do you write everything together, or do you write with anyone outside of the two of you, or is that also entirely self-contained?
There have been some things early on where we were writing with other people, but now everything that you hear that we do is really just the two of us and a laptop, pretty much. And we've got plans to do some bigger things in the studio as well, but right now it's just the two of us.
No, it's interesting because I was listening to and in fact Jessica, I'd asked you online if you had a preference for what we'll play in a little bit at the end of the segment, and you left it up to me, which is cool because I do have my second favorite, though I love We Are the Night would be my first favorite. I love that song, but in listening to the different tracks that you have available online, it really does, you're kind of genre bending a bit, which is cool because you wouldn't, when you listen to somebody and for the first time and you wouldn't necessarily know, okay, this all sounds like, it was written by the same people. It's not that. There's some variety there. It sounds like you're, not necessarily actively trying to be, really distinctly unique with each song. Maybe it comes naturally. I don't know. But I mean, is that something you consciously think about? Like when the two of you are writing and recording, are you trying to make everything that you do kind of unique and separate from everything else, or does that just kind of naturally happen? Or maybe it's just my perception and there is a common thread through everything, but it's nice to be able to listen to you, and it's not like hearing the same song over and over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's something that with a lot of the early stuff we wrote, it came so naturally, and every song was so unique, and really none of them sound like each other. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
And also like for instance, Every Day's Like Saturday, that's up. We were surfing a lot when we made that song, and that was just what came out. It was like this bubblegum pop, super stoked song about where we were at in life at that time. So a lot of it is very natural. And then some of the stuff that we're writing now is very influenced by the shows that we're playing now, and the kind of clubs that we're doing. So so it's very natural, but then some of it is like, what would you say? Also,
well, most of the things that we do, I would say, have a bit of a theme to them. But the one sort of outlier is that song, which hopefully people go listen to, Every Day's Like Saturday, which if and anybody who's started surfing and experienced what that's like when you get stoked and you can't stop thinking about it. That song we literally couldn't help it. That song just wrote itself, and we just were like, we just want to do this and put this out. And so that's, most of the other things I think probably relate. Well, that thing has metal, so I don't know.
Yeah, we are very genre bending. Yeah. But like it's all in service of whatever topic we are into at that point in time. So like if we're writing a certain song, we kind of like, we just build the world around that topic, whatever's like natural to that.
Well, I would think
song title or idea.
Yeah. Well, I would think too, that would be kind of liberating to be able to approach it that way, because like I've played in some bands, and if sometimes when you're in a band, and if you're like a hardcore metal band, that's what everything has to sound like. If you're in a punk band, that's what everything has to sound like. But if you're in a project where you can just kind of not worry about that at all, and just say, we're going to create what feels right and what sounds good to us. I'm almost a little jealous as a musician myself, because I've never been in a project like that. So that sounds that sounds pretty cool.
A lot of what Villins is about for us is really about, there's a lot of things that when we just talked about making music that we both agreed on. And it's true that a lot of times when you're in projects or whatever, everyone's focused on some sort of goal. And with Villins, we really try to make the goal making things that are amazing to us.
Yeah.
And we hope if we're blowing ourselves away, or if we really love something, that other people love it, instead of some sort of strategy to do all metal or all pop or all whatever. We really try to make everything something that we really believe in and we're stoked about.
Yeah.
And so, it gets a little different sometimes.
Where was the video for We Are the Night? Where was that shot?
That was actually shot at the Footlight Bar, which we are playing tonight.
Oh.
Our director, who is my little brother, he shot that video at the Footlight Bar, and it was really nice because we played Footlight maybe for the first time about a year ago.
Yeah.
And we just met so many people out there that they became fans of us and our show, and it was just like such a good vibe. We met Kendra out there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And so
it's just one of our favorite places in Ridgewood, Queens.
Yes. Kendra L. Saunders. That's who connected us. And so for our listeners who are online in the New York City area, so you're playing there tonight. And that's where in New York is that?
It's in Ridgewood, Queens, on Seneca Avenue.
Oh, very good, very good. Is it now? Are you? I assume you're playing with some other. You're not the only ones on the bill, right?
No, we have a few other people on the bill. There's I think Kendra's doing a reading of her book, or maybe not of her book, but she's doing some sort of reading.
Oh, that's
cool. They also
cool.
have comedians that
oh, wow, yeah,
that do some stand up there, and
yeah, so it's kind of an eclectic thing.
There might be a couple other ones.
That's cool, because the thing that I was kind of leading to with that is I was curious, is it difficult to find other bands or solo artists or whomever to kind of share a bill with, because what you're doing is really unique, or maybe that makes it easier in a way, because when you don't fit in anywhere, you can kind of fit in everywhere. I don't know. I mean, is that a challenge at all, or is it an advantage? Because I haven't seen anyone quite like what the two of you are doing.
At first, we started playing out a little bit over a year ago, and at first, we didn't really know quite where to turn. So we just started playing gigs, right? And yeah, so then there have been occasions where yes, we were like, what bands do we reach out to? What venues do we reach out to? But there have been a couple of bands along the way that we do fit really well with, but it is a little bit tricky, I would say, for us to.
And we've also played. We played a lot of just gigs out of the blue, like pubs, and just working out the show in the beginning. And then we reached out to some friends. We had friends Tommy London and Breedlove in New York who brought us on to some of their nights, and that's also sort of part of our like extended Gaga family. And so we've played on some nights that weren't quite regular rock nights or regular pop nights.
Sure.
And now over time we've played enough that we've sort of found some good people. So it's like some of our favorites, like the Hell Yeah Babies and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Have you?
And now we're doing. We're very excited about. We have a show on New Year's Eve at the McKittrick Hotel in the city, and it's a place that we feel we just fit right in. So it's a very nice feeling. We've kind of like found a few really solid places that we feel very happy to be at. Yeah,
that's excellent. And have you toured outside of New York with this project yet, or have you just kind of stayed around there for now? Because I know this is still, in a lot of ways, relatively new, so I don't know if you've had a chance to really kind of hit the road yet or not.
No, not the road so much. We've played a couple of shows on the Jersey Shore, which was also sort of multitasking, so we could surf and play shows.
Yeah.
There you go. So are you both surfers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We learned to surf together
a
few summers ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. So, so you have We Are the Night. It's obviously your newest single. And again, I love the song and I love the video. Are there plans to do an album or an EP, or are there going to be more singles, or or do you have a plan at this point?
That's what we're working on right now. Probably the next thing that we release will probably be at least an EP as opposed to doing another single.
Yeah, we're probably not going to do another single, so it's either going to be an EP or a record.
Yeah, we're working on those plans right now.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. We live in a time when I'm old enough to remember when the kind of pre-internet, when it was you record a full-length album and then you go out on tour, try to put out some singles, and then eventually you put out another full-length album or maybe an EP. But we live in a time now where you have so much flexibility in terms of how you approach it. You can really do it all kinds of different ways, and you've got a lot of options, which is cool. So, and by the way, so the concept, just getting back to the concept for a minute. So I get the impression it's kind of like you're almost like supervillains in Gotham City in terms of, I mean, that's what it looks like visually, right?
Right.
Is that's kind of the idea? I mean, obviously, the cool thing about doing something that's artistic and visual is everyone can kind of assign whatever meaning to it that they want to, with their imaginations and whatnot. But that was my first thing. It was like, when I saw you both, it was like, oh, they look like they're getting ready to take over take over Gotham City and fight Batman and whomever, and it's really cool. I dig it a lot. I love what you're both doing. Well, listen, we'll start to wrap up. I'm going to play the other song. I like all of these. I found several of them on your on SoundCloud and Bandcamp and whatnot, but I really like this track, "Kiss Me Again." I think this will be a good way to wrap up. But before we do that, I want to thank you both, and I want to have you back when you've got something new to that you're promoting and you want to talk about. I want to hopefully we can make this a regular thing from time to time, because Kendra sent me the links and I was like, oh, this is great. I love anything visual myself, like I'm a lifelong Kiss fan, and, I love theatrical things, and, so, but even more importantly, like I said, I listened to We Are the Night, and when I listened to it with headphones, I was like, oh, it's one of those things where if you listen with headphones, you know what I mean? It's you hear every little nuance that you might not necessarily hear just, in your car on the stereo or something. And I fell in love with the track and I became an instant fan. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, this is, thank you for spending this time with us today. And, before we go, why don't you, go ahead again for our online listeners in New York. Why don't you plug the show tonight? And also, anything else that you want us to know in terms of social media and your website, and remember to leave out the A in Villins and all that kind of stuff. Whatever.
We're Villins without the A.
Yes, yes.
And yes, we have a show tonight at the Footlight Bar in Ridgewood, Queens, at 10 o'clock. And you can find us. And also, we have a show on January 26th at Gramercy Theater.
Oh, very nice.
Opening for Tommy London.
Oh, good for you.
Video release party.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And you can find us at villins.com, VILLINS.com, or at Villins Official on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, very good. So I'm going to play this track momentarily, but we'll let you both go. And good luck tonight. Have a great show. And I wish you all the success in the world. And thank you both, Jessica and Kareem from Villins. Thank you for joining us today. This has been great, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you so much, Matt.
All right, you got it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, very nice. So that was Jessica and Kareem, and let's go ahead and play this. I love this a lot. This is Kiss Me Again by Villins. When we come back, we've got another guest who's going to be joining us a little bit later. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other things happening in the news, because, as always, we live in an era where everything is very, very busy. But here it is. This is Kiss Me Again by Villins.
Put your hands on me again, again, again. Put your hands on me again. Put your hands on me again, again, again. Put your hands on me again, do it, do it. Look at me that way again, again, again. Look at me that way again, do it, do it. I'm not that nice and I'm not that sweet. I can feel your eyes all over me. Put your hands on me again, again, again. Put your hands on me again. I don't wanna fight. Don't wanna start a war. But if I gotta fight, I got something worth dying for. I got something worth dying for. Come on, kiss me again, again, again. Come on, kiss me again, do it, do it. Put your hands on me again, again, again. Put your hands on me again, do it, do it. You better finish what you started.
WMNation.com.